Good morning, my friends. And what a beautiful morning we have here in Wisconsin. It is absolutely perfect. I can see the sunshine through my window. So we have to treasure these mornings. But in the meantime, the holidays, the fall holidays are coming very, very quickly. And of course, who does not love Halloween? Well, I know not everybody loves Halloween, but I do, and I hope you guys do as well. So today we are making a fun little project in preparation of Halloween. Some people might think it's a little bit creepy. I think it's just fun. It's, it's like Charlotte. It's a little cartoony kind of spider, and we can give him or her a name. In fact, Charlotte is a great name, except I do have 5 of these guys. So maybe we can name them during the course of the video. But, of course, I'm going to show you how to make these fun little guys, and maybe we can brainstorm a little bit just what we could do with these. You know, we could, obviously they make a super fun little decoration for the actual holiday, but you can do literally whatever you want. You can add a pin back to these, make them into a pin. You can just put them wherever you want to around your house. You can give them to your friends for Halloween. Give them to your kids or grandkids. And maybe even make them with your kids or grandkids, depending on their age. And they're just fun. They're colorful. I'm hoping that you don't feel they're creepy.
Ellen says, hi, Irina and everyone.
Ellen, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Naomi says, I love making these. Thank you for sharing your creations.
Oh, thank you so much, Naomi. So it sounds like you have made them. Maybe you can share a picture of what you have made. I have made so many different variations. I actually started with Christmas spiders. There's a whole story of Christmas spiders, which I absolutely love. And in fact, I put out a new Christmas spider kit every year, and this is the very first time we are making a Halloween spider kit.
Lynn O says, good morning, everybody.
Hello, Lynn. And you know what? I would love to thank you for the tomatoes that you dropped off. Lynn obviously is local, so thank you so much. You are very, very sweet.
Ellen says, costume too.
Absolutely. Put it on your costume. Put it on your hat. In fact, not just the hat you're going to wear for Halloween, but just wear it for the entire season. It's kind of a conversation piece.
Katie S says, good morning. Looking forward to making spiders.
Oh, yay. Good morning, Katie.
Fonda says, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Hi, Fonda, and happy Friday to you. My little spiders are saying good morning to you.
Betty says, good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Betty.
Naomi says, that's how I started.
Awesome. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Ellen says, and great for hats, shoes, or trick-or-treat bags.
Yes, that's fun. Absolutely. I want to put one on like a curtain, like it's just sitting there and watching.
Good thing we don't have curtains.
Oh, good thing. But we can put one on what do you call those? Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment. Something other than a curtain. It'll come to me.
Kathy
A blind. There you go.
Kathy H says, make them smaller and make them in earrings.
Oh yes, earrings would be super fun. And actually, even these could easily be earrings, because even though they're pretty large, but they're very lightweight. So, most of what you're seeing are the legs, and these are light enough to be earrings. In fact, that's a really good idea. I love it.
Barb says, good morning. Spiders are so lifelike.
Oh, good morning, Barb. Thank you.
Naomi says, my mom has them hanging from her curtains.
I love it. I love it. Hanging from curtains, hanging from lamps, pretty much anywhere you can put a fun little colorful spider.
Lino says you're welcome. I just have tons of them this year. I'll be in today. See you then.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much. And I will see you then.
Pat says love these.
Yay, I'm so glad you like these, Pat. All right, guys. So why don't we get started? So before we get started, I just want to show you the palette and talk a little, well, in fact, here, let's keep these guys up on my workspace so that I can talk a little bit about the palette. So this is not everything that you get in the kit, but you know, I just wanted to show you what comes in the kit to give you a little idea of the colors. So just please know you will get more of just about everything, all the little beads you will get more of.
Ellen says these are very fun, elegant Halloween spiders.
Oh, thank you for saying elegant. You know, I could not quite put my finger on it, but yes, I do think they're elegant. Thank you so much, and thank you for pointing that out. Okay, guys, so just wanted to share the palette. So I don't know if you can see the white, but yes, there is kind of a pearly white. There are black bugle beads. There are these kind of silvery gold 6/0 beads. There is a twisty kind of bead. There are faceted rondelles in red. There is another seed bead in a lighter orange. Then we have some purple bugle beads, like a dark purple. We have a really, really bright Halloween orange. And of course we have, there should be one more head here. So these larger, or rather these faceted black beads are the heads. And of course, the focal point of the piece is the body of the spider. And this is the reason I called them Gothic spiders, because that beautiful ornate silver bead just makes it look a little bit Gothic. So you can imagine that having all these different beads, you can come up with so many color combinations and so many patterns, and no two spiders are going to be alike. And that's really part of the fun, because you can really mix and match, play with patterns, and just create. I don't know about you, but for me it gets a little boring when everything is the same. So I like to mix it up. And so if you look at some of the patterns on my little guys, they're all different. So just wanted to give you some ideas as far as just play with the patterns, make it your own, and you will have a great time doing it. And then of course you'll have even a better time wearing them or giving them away.
Debbie says this is your video I've been waiting for. Thank you so much.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much, Debbie. I love it. I love that you've been waiting for it. Okay, guys, I'm getting situated. I think I'm just going to leave one little spider on my desk, and everything else we're going to move. And so with a lot of choices, I'm just going to have to pick what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to use maybe, well, how about this like peanut bead? You guys like the peanut bead? Well, actually, while I'm setting up, just vote on the bead. You know how we like to do this. We can vote on the bead for the body. And while I am grabbing some of the other beads, you can tell me which one you like. So we have an oval, we have a round, we have kind of a pointy oval, we have a peanut. And at least to me, the shape is a peanut. I suppose it could be a farfalle too. And then we have a triangle. So they're very easy to define. So you tell me which body you like, and we will use that body. Maybe I'll use one of the bigger heads today. Some of the faceted beads that are intended for the heads are a little bigger, some are a little smaller. So you will get like a little variety, so you can really play.
Pat says peanut. Barb says I like the big round one. And Ellen says the teardrop oval shape.
Okay, so far we have all different thoughts as far as the body. But we have a moment yet while I start, so keep voting. You know, I want to hear from a couple more people so we can narrow down the body.
Fonda says peanut.
All right.
Naomi says peanut.
Okay, a couple of votes for peanut. 3 votes for peanut. So maybe we'll just do the peanut. How about it? And so here is my little segment of wire. It's about 2 inches in length, and you have 2 different types of wire in this kit.
Gail and Lino also vote for peanut.
Oh, fantastic. You guys, it's unanimous.
Now I'm hungry.
Okay, we'll have some peanuts later. Maybe even some peanut butter.
Have some on my desk.
Awesome.
Carla says, what fun. Glad I tune in. I'll say peanut too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for voting, everybody. I love your feedback. Okay, so I'm starting out with a short segment. You can cut it to 2.5 inches at most. And this is the heavier of the 2 wires. So you will have some 20 gauge wire in your kit as well as some 22 gauge wire. So please know that the heavier of the 2 is the 20 gauge, and that is intended for the head and the body, which is what we're starting with. So set aside the 22 gauge wire for when we start working on the legs. So in the meantime, I'm going to use my flat nose pliers to make a 90-degree angle, and that's because we are going to be making a loop, of course. So as soon as I find my round nose, which is right here, I will make a loop. And this is just a simple loop. We're not wrapping this loop. It could be, that size, or it could be a little bit smaller. It's not important what size the loop is. I guess maybe it's important to you if it's going to be a functional loop, meaning if you are going to use this loop to hang something, or maybe you have something specific to put into the loop, because as we said, we can do so many things with these little spiders. Okay, guys, so I'm stringing the head as well as the body right there. And we are going to make another 90-degree angle. And this time we are going to leave about 3 to 4 millimeters between the bead and where we start our loop. So the easiest way to do this is just use your chain nose pliers to hold the wire and bend right over the wire, and we have about 3-4 millimeters of bare wire right there. So at this point, I'm going to maybe trim my wire just a little bit so that I get a slightly smaller loop. And I started with about 2 inches of wire. So if you're not quite sure, maybe just start with a little more. You certainly have extra wire in the kit, so no worries. Okay, so I don't want a very large loop, so if I have about 8 millimeters of wire, that is plenty. And again, I'm using my round nose pliers to make a loop. So we'll make sure that we align the loop really well. And with most of the beads, this loop will actually go right into the opening on your body, or maybe not your body, but the spider's body. And then we are going to have a nice little separation between the head bead and the body. Okay, so we are going to set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to talk about the 22 gauge wire. So the 22 gauge wire, of course, is going to be a little bit thinner than the 20 gauge wire. And we are going to cut it into either segments of 6 inches or 5 inches. So if you are thinking that you want to give him the little spiral feet, so can you guys see the spirals? I hope the camera picks it up. Tony is saying yes.
Connie says good morning.
Good morning, Connie, and thanks for joining us. All right, guys, so if you like the spiral feet, cut the 22 gauge wire into segments of 6 inches. If you like the tiny loop feet like this, can you guys see the tiny loops? So for that, you will only need segments of 5 inches. So you decide, and I have some of each, and I like them both. And I have to tell you that, of course, if you're trying to do this quickly, maybe you're making quick gifts and whatnot, of course, the loops go a little bit faster than the spirals, but I really do enjoy making those spirals too.
Mary says, love the feet.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary. So which feet do you like? Do you like the spiral feet or do you like the loop feet? Okay, guys, so we're going to cut our 22 gauge wire, as we already said, into either segments of 5 or 6 inches, depending on the feet that you're going to make. And we're going to have a total of 4 pieces. Okay, so I have 4 segments of wire.
Mary says spirals.
All right, so we'll definitely have to demo a spiral or two today. So what I'm going to do is start bending each one of these segments in half. And it's not a sharp bend, it's kind of a softer bend. Well, you know, it's somewhere in between, really. It's kind of soft, but not very much so. So you can see I have a little U-turn.
We have a request from Debbie to do the spiral feet.
Oh, thank you so much, Debbie. I would love to do the spiral feet. In fact, I'm actually going to demo one of each, or if you think we need more than one demo, then we'll do a couple of each. So I'm doing this with every one of my 22 gauge wire segments, and I'm doing my best to bend the wire in the center.
Fonda says I like the spiral feet too.
Oh, good. Thank you, Fonda. Well, I want you guys to know that you most certainly have enough wire and then some for the spiral feet. And so as you can see, I'm making the soft bend, and I'm making certain that I'm not kinking the wire elsewhere. So I'm trying to keep it nice and straight, which is also why it's so easy to just do this with your fingers, because your fingers are not going to kink the wire. Okay, so now we are going to start wrapping the wire into our space between the body and the head.
Gail says Irina is so talented with wire and we need to see the spiral feet created.
Oh, you're so sweet, Gail. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So the way that I do this is I like the legs nice and snug on the body, or rather between the body and the head. And I'm going to make maybe like 3 little coils. So I try to go as much as I can from both sides, but you know, sometimes it doesn't quite work out like that. No worries, because we actually did start with a little bit more wire than we are going to need. So we'll be trimming some. So if you get a little asymmetry in the legs, it's not a big deal, because we don't need the entire length of the wire. So I am just going to wrap the first 2 pair of legs, something like this. And what you are going to see is that you are definitely going to get some asymmetry, especially after you wrap the first couple. So just embrace the asymmetry. The asymmetry can be our friend often. So now I'm going to start filling in. So you can see I can probably use a leg coming out of here since there's a large gap. So no worries. And to be perfectly honest, even if you just do this completely randomly, it will all work out. So you don't have to be super meticulous as far as where you end up with the legs, because as you will see, once we start beading, the beads kind of like just crowd into that little area. Here, let me show you. So you see how they just kind of crowd into that little area, and you honestly cannot tell exactly where the legs are coming out of. So at this point, I have 6 legs, but of course we know that, and I'm tightening the wire just a tiny bit with the chain nose pliers, and I think I'll go around one more time. Okay, so now, which one did I just wrap? I can no longer tell which one is the new one. Maybe it's this one. And I feel like I might want to go once more around with this side of the wire, just to get it a little bit more tight. And at the end too, we do have an option of making everything stay in place with just a little drop of glue, and that is very much optional. So if you get your legs tight enough where you don't feel you need it, or maybe you don't mind them moving, it's fine without the glue. But it's nice to know that we have options. So here is my last set of legs, and I'm just trying to place it a little bit strategically and wrapping it into place. And what you will notice is that in all likelihood you will get some overlapping, and that is perfectly fine. In fact, the overlapping is really a good thing, because it helps us tighten all the wire in place. And right now I'm just kind of pulling on the legs to make sure that they're as snug as I can possibly get them. And we'll look at the bottom as well. So it looks like this one is not too tight. I might want to work on this one a little bit. First, I'm going to find which one it is. Okay, it is right here. And we just need to make it a little tighter with our chain nose pliers. Okay, so now that should do it. And again, if you find that you're just not able to make it as tight as you want, we can always use a little glue at the end, and I will show you exactly how to do it. Okay, so I think I'm yes, I'm happy with where everything is. So here are my 8 legs. Here, let's just kind of spread them out a little bit so we can see them. All right, starting to look like a spider already. Here it is. Okay, and now we're going to start beading. So when I create these little patterns, I always start with the 11-0 seed beads. And that's because they're going to be so crowded into the center. So it's kind of like making a snowflake. If you've ever made a snowflake, which of course I will be doing a little bit later in the season. But if you've ever made a snowflake, you know that all the spokes, the 6 spokes, come to a center. And so you need to use the little beads. So it's very much like that here. And we're going to start with our 11-0 seed beads. So I'm just going to start stringing right on the leg. And you can start with 3 seed beads. I like starting with 3 seed beads, but if you have a different number in mind, that is okay too. So I'm just going to go with a very simple pattern where once I have my 3 seed beads on, I am going to string a bugle bead onto the wire, then another seed bead, then one of these red thunder polish rondelles, and back to the bugle beads. So I made these actually a little bit differently than I have been making my Christmas spiders. These are a little bit more long-legged, and so we are going to have 3 bugle beads in our pattern, and I'm just repeating the pattern. So once I get to 3 bugle beads, and I have my 11-0s, and then the faceted rondelle in between. So once I have to 3 bugles, I end with a seed bead and a rondelle. And that's really it. That's the end of the leg. And that is going to give you these beautiful long-legged spiders. So what we'll do is we're going to use our flat nose pliers and just make a 90-degree angle. Now, if you were finishing, and I guess I didn't, oh yes, I did. So if you were finishing with, oh, I guess I forgot to put one on this leg, but who can tell? So if you're finishing with something with a large hole, like a 6-0 seed bead, if you simply make a 90-degree angle, the seed bead is likely to slide off. So in that case, we are going to make a spiral right away. But with this, if you wanted to, you could just string all of the legs and then start making the spiral feet. So again, you could do this all at once, or you can do this one leg at a time, whatever makes you happy. And I think I'm just going to string one more leg just in case if we want to make 2 spirals. And then I'm going to go on to the next step. So again, you know, some of my patterns are a little bit more elaborate. Can you guys see that this guy is a bit more long-legged and there's a little bit more going on here? And that's because instead of just the 3 beads in between my bugle beads, I have 5 beads. So I have the 11-0, then I have the twisted 10-0, and then that slightly transparent 6-0. So again, you can just play with your patterns however you want to. That's really the super fun part of it. And in the meantime, I'm just going to continue the same pattern on this next leg, and we're going to finish with the thunder polish. So here I just made the 2 legs, and I think we're not going to continue further with the legs because, you know, it's really exactly the same. So stringing is stringing. But I wanted to have a couple of legs so that I could talk about measuring. And so the advantage in stringing all the legs at once and then trimming the wire is, of course, because then we can just go ahead and trim all the wire to about the same length. And if you are a visual jewelry maker like me, then you probably don't measure a whole lot. You just kind of eye everything, which is what I do. But just in case, if you do want to measure, and let's say you are finishing one leg at a time, you could always measure exactly how much you are keeping for each of those little spiral feet. So this looks like it's just under 3/4 of an inch. So if you want this in millimeters, I will be more exact. Okay, so this is 17 millimeters. And it just happened to be what I picked. It could be a little bit smaller, it could be a little bit larger. But, you know, they all work out. So what I'm going to do is start making the spiral feet. So when we make a spiral, we can start with our round nose pliers. And you can see I started making a little loop. You guys have all made a loop by now, I'm sure. But this loop I'm actually making at the very, very end of the round nose. Let's do this again so that you can see exactly where I'm starting out. So I'm starting out at the very end of the round nose pliers. And so it's a very tiny loop, but wait, we're about to make it even tinier because, well, first of all, whenever you want a really nice round spiral, we are always going to cut off that little and it's not a whole lot, but believe me, it's going to make a huge difference. So we're cutting off the and, which is straight. And so everything that I'm left with at this point is nice and curved. So I'm going to actually switch to my chain nose pliers and close that loop just a little bit, making the opening in the loop even that much smaller. And this is because we are making little tiny spirals. So if you don't want an open circle in the center of each foot, this is what you do. You just close that loop. And at this point, the easiest thing to do would be to switch to our flat nose pliers. And very slowly and deliberately, we're going to start lining up the wire on the outside of that loop. So you can see that. And it's very easy. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of rolling in with my flat nose pliers like this, and we just made a spiral. So let's do this one more time. Don't forget to close that little loop. Once you have snipped off a little bit of the end of the wire, that loop is open, right? So you saw I just squeezed it a little bit with my flat nose pliers, and now I'm going to start lining the wire up on the outside of the loop. And it's like a little snail. We're just going to keep forming that little snail by manipulating it with the flat nose pliers. As you can see, I'm holding very, very close to the bend in the wire, right? So I'm holding on to that last bead in on the wire. Okay, so that is how you're going to have the most stability. So we just made a couple of little spirals, and these are going to be feet. So through the magic of Facebook Live, I have a spider that is just about finished. So once you can kind of see where this is going. This is a different body, but everything else is the same or about the same. You can see that I also added a white 6-0, and this is all about just playing with those patterns. So once you have all of the legs done, and I left one foot undone so that I could demo a little loop. And we are going to, just as before, we're going to make a pretty small loop. But this time we're not making a spiral. We're just making a little tiny loop. So we don't need that much wire for it. And I am also making it at the end of my round nose pliers and then squeezing with my flat nose pliers.
Barb says, great tip on the loop. I wouldn't have thought of that to close it up.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Barb. I'm so glad.
Debbie says, thank you. I learned something new. Snip the end of the loop for making a tiny round loop.
Yes, exactly. You'll get a much better better round loop and subsequently a much better spiral. So once you have finished all of the little feet, and you can, again, maybe you finish them with the spirals or maybe you finish them with the loops. It sounds like the spiral is probably the favorite. So this is what it looks like, one of the two. And now we are going to give his body some, or rather his legs, we're going to give his legs a nice shape. Because, you know, everybody wants a nice shape, even a spider. And so we're going to bring the front legs to the front. And then we're just going to maybe bring the back legs back a little bit, just like a real spider. And then we have two pair in between. Just imagine having all these legs and arms. If only spiders could make jewelry, they'd be so good at it. Okay, so, but actually they're amazing craftsmen making the type of spider webs that they do. There's so many different types of beautifully woven spider webs. Okay, so almost done. So at this point, he's still a little bit flat. So now we're going to give him a little dimension by pointing the legs downward. And you can make him a little more dimensional or a bit more flat. It's entirely up to you. You know, if he is going to maybe sit on something flat, maybe he wants to be a little bit more flat. But you decide. So this is what this guy looks like. Ta-da! Maybe, okay, so now that I put him down, I feel like these legs need to come down a little bit. So let's see if this is enough. Yeah, Gail, this is good.
Gail says you could add some monofilament thread to nose and tail to hang up.
Yes, you could. Or even the body, too. You could add some monofilament to the body. I wish I had some here. I don't, but maybe we could do a little... Oh, maybe I have... what is that? I have some kind of a thread. yes, I have, I have all sorts of crazy little remnants of threads here at my workspace. So it's nice because you can just grab things. So he could hang something like this. What do you think? Somebody comes in through your front door and he can be the greeter. Well, for Halloween, he can be the greeter. Again, he's not a scary guy. He's a friendly little spider. Okay, so, and maybe, actually, no, I do like how his body sits, but you get the idea. You can just manipulate his little legs to however you want him to sit. Or, who knows, he might even be holding a little present or something for, I don't know, maybe candy. Maybe he could hold some candy corn. So what do you think? That was pretty easy, right? You can do this. It's super easy. And one thing that I did a little bit differently for this one than the Christmas spiders is I went with slightly heavier wire for the legs. So I used the 22 gauge wire rather than the 24 gauge wire so that they would hold their shapes really well. And yes, I do have an extra one. Maybe this guy will just sit on the bleachers. And so in the kit, you have enough heads, bodies, everything else to make 5. You will most likely have some leftover beads so that if you were to add your own bodies, you could probably make more. But in the kit, you have enough for 5.
Fonda says, love it. So cute.
Oh, thank you so much, Fonda.
Anne says, I missed it. Will this be posted for me to watch later?
Absolutely, Anne. I'm so glad you asked. So all of our videos are archived and you can always rewatch them anytime that it is convenient for you. And just in case if you're new, I do these videos every Friday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, just like this one. And also Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And those are on my Facebook page. But I do have some announcements which actually involve not doing the videos next week.
Barb says, I have to end soon, but thanks for another great tutorial. I enjoyed our conversation in the store this week and need to stop in again for these new kits.
Oh, thank you so much, Barb. And I enjoyed meeting you too so much. In fact, I just want to say, when you guys stop by, if you happen to be in the store, please do ask for me. I'm not often on the floor, but I do love meeting people who watch these videos. I love it when I can put the face with the voice, which in this case, of course, is Tony's voice, but with your comments. So I love it. So please don't be shy and just say hi when you're here. All right, guys, so back to my announcements. So if you watch me every week, please don't be surprised I don't have a video next week because we're going to be on vacation. So there's not going to be a Thursday video. There's not going to be a Friday video, but I will resume the following week. And so I will resume on the 22nd. So Thursday, the 22nd is when we're going to have our next video. And that is going to be Cool Ice Cubes bracelet. I previewed it last night and I'm going to preview it today. And I'm going to move my bracelet so that you can see the cool ice cubes. And I will have the Cool Ice Cubes bracelet in multiple colors. And a couple of people last night asked for a bracelet with pinks and reds. And yes, I went looking and I can do pinks and reds. So if you asked for it, just consider it done.
KDS says, I will be in on Monday for more spiders.
Oh, Oh, yay, Katie. Unfortunately, I won't see you in the store because I will be enjoying Cape Cod.
Mary says, hope you have a wonderful vacation.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Gail says, thank you for a great live.
My pleasure, Gail.
Ellen says, I love cool ice cubes bracelet.
Thank you so much. So this will be available as of right now. I'm thinking 4 different colors. I already have them set aside and they're super, super fun. So that is Thursday the 22nd. And on Friday the 23rd, we're going to have Enchanted Forest Necklace. And this is going to be at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Eclectica Facebook page, just like today.
Fauna says, I will have to get some of these spiders and have a safe and fun vacation.
Oh, thank you so much, Fonda, and I hope you have fun with your spiders.
Mary is wondering where she can order the spider kit.
Mary, thank you so much for asking. You can order the spider kit from our Etsy shop, which is the Eclectica Etsy shop, and there is a link in the comments as well as the description of the video.
Carla says, thank you.
My pleasure, Carla. Thank you so much for watching.
Ellen says, excellent, pinks and reds, love it.
Oh, awesome. So you like that. Yay. So there's going to be one with pinks and reds. There's going to be one with purples. And of course, we have to have a black.
Leno says, I'm selfishly happy that you won't be on next week as I will also be on vacation.
Oh my gosh, Lynn. Well, maybe I will see you on vacation. I'm kidding. Well, where are you going? I'm going to Cape Cod.
Lonnie says, happy vacation. I will have to watch the replay.
Thank you so much, Lonnie.
Mary says, thanks.
My pleasure.
Many thanks. Sorry.
Oh, but wait, you guys, there's more. I have to tell you 2 more things. I have 2 more quick announcements. So this is what we made last night. And you probably remember my first sample was in the turquoises and grays. And this is September Sky. And the colorway that I created during last night's video is sepia bronze. And sepia bronze is available through the Etsy shop. Normally, we don't list it until Friday afternoon, but because we're going away and we're just trying to get everything wrapped up, we stayed a little bit later last night. This is the Dance With Me lariat, because of course it's a dancing lariat. See, it dances. It's like perfect to go dancing or do anything else.
Ellen says, thank you for a wonderful demo. Happy vacay to you.
Thank you so much, Ellen.
Leno says, we're going to the lake up north.
Oh, well, enjoy, Lynn. I love it up north. So I hope you have a wonderful time. So the sepia bronze is listed in the Etsy shop. And, oh yes, and my last announcement is we have 3 more days of an awesome sale. So our Labor Day sale goes through midnight this Sunday. It's a really great sale. Please do not miss it. There are over 700 items on sale, including some of the kits. So please browse. And I believe we covered everything. What do you guys think? I think we covered everything, right? We made a spider. We talked about their feet. And we did all the previews. Did I forget anything, you guys? Tony is shaking his head no. So I'm going to assume that we covered it all. So I will miss you guys next week. And I will see you the week of the it's like the 20th, but for us it's the 22nd and the 23rd, right? So in the meantime, enjoy. Have a wonderful creative time. Make lots of fun little spiders and whatever else. And thank you so much for watching.